Do you believe in the existence of extraterrestrials?
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Friday, December 6th, 2024, as we round out the year, and we're back again talking about UAP air drones that have been coming over New Jersey. Now, we thought this was going to come to an end, folks. No, it's picking up. It's getting more intense. Members of the House are getting their riled up. Mayors are getting riled up. The police and FBI are getting involved. And we're talking about some kind of technology that's a breakthrough technology that our government cannot bring down. Before we get on to the big story, breaking stories of the day, first thing I want to go ahead and do is welcome in our Wait a minute. Well, hold on a second first. Before we get started, I want to go ahead and thank our dear friend and longtime supporter here in Disclosure Tonight, also someone in the back who actually acts as a moderator a lot of times for us after the show. I want to thank FaZe Will for that $50, $49.99 super chat. Holy cow. Love me some Disclosure Tonight show. Thank you very much. FaZe Will appreciate your love and support for everything we do here at Disclosure Tonight. More importantly, before we get on to that, thanks again, Will. I want to go ahead and turn that off, and I want to find it. Where's it at? Where are the drums? Come on. Sure, it's not too loud to blast everyone's ears away. Not too bad. All right, let's go ahead and welcome in our audience. Who the heck do we have out there? Let's take a look at our chat. We have Bradley Swanee. You're new. Welcome, my friend. Brian Pemble's here all the way from the Twitter sphere. Kat's around along with Christine Lynn. Country Carpenter's here. Dennis Benke. Eddie's around along with Eli McGinnis. Eric Groth and the Gurus. Firefly is here along with Frank Einstein. Jan's around along with J-Cat and Kelly Broughton, her piercing blue eyes. She really does have piercing blue eyes if you look at her picture. Wow. King Bull's around along with Marcus and the Mandels. Niles Guy's here along with FaZe Will. Rachel Osborne just pulled in along with Reality Check VIP. Red Rhino Koala. No, that couldn't be. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. Robert Koford, you're new. Welcome to the show, my friend. I think maybe you've been around, but Rough Freddy's here along with Serge Cardo. Stephen Forbes is around. Sully's here. How are you doing landing that plane, my friend? Forgot about you. Syrup's here along with the Chromosome Cowboy. Tia and the Lorenos is here. Good to see you, Tia. We also have Trevor Williams, Wildcat Mahone, and Yankee. 58. That was a great year, if you ask anyone who likes wine beyond me. So 58, it's a great year. 10 years older than me, but hey, gotta enjoy it. On that note, friends, it's that time. As you know, it's for us to go ahead and welcome in our back panel. Let's go ahead and take a look at who we have there. Well, our first person's coming in all the way from Bristol, United Kingdom. He just flew in, and boy, is his arms tired. Let's welcome in our dear friend, Andy W. How's it going, Andy?
Hi, Thomas. I don't know about flying with my arms, but here where we are in the my part of the UK, you're going to be Mary Poppins flying with her umbrella.
Oh, there you go.
It is. We've got a red weather warning, so if I disappear, it might be we lose power.
I saw up near the Birmingham area, a little near Bristol. Weren't you guys getting a lot of wind? At least that's what the map showed this morning.
We are getting it. It's hit. Well, it's really, really windy out there at the moment. It's going to be quite dangerous in the next hour.
Oh, gotcha.
So they sent a lot of my work colleagues home, but I know Kat, who's in chat, is in my area, and she's getting a bit blustery where she is as well.
Yeah.
So
let's go ahead and bring it up. I think you're talking about this map here. Birmingham is actually going to be very windy, and you're in yellowish kind of, I believe, compared to Birmingham. So you're getting a lot of rain and wind, huh? Yeah,
no rain at the moment, but an awful lot of wind. So.
Yeah, well, this is from 8 o'clock this morning, my time, or late last night, but either way, it's pretty close. But thanks for coming in today, my friend. Fingers crossed that the wind stays. I mean, the power stays on one of those days, I tell you.
But yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Thank you for coming here. Also, our next person coming in all the way from the city that never sleeps, coming to us from Bangkok, Thailand. Let's welcome in our dear friend, Corporal Abe. How's it going, Abe?
Hey, happy holidays, Thomas, everybody out there. Thanks for having me again. Looking forward to another great show. This is the best damn UFO show on the entire internet.
Thank you, sir. We try to do our best on this one, man. We got a bang-up show on this one. Thank you for coming in today, Abe. And liking the shirt, my friend. Looks killer. Yeah, it's a beautiful Hawaiian shirt. Let's see who else. We have actually a Thailand shirt for that matter, not Hawaiian, but yes. Let's go ahead and turn our sights on the upper Midwest, the place that never sleeps. So actually, that's Thailand. Let's welcome in from the place that's freaking cold right now. Let's welcome in Laura Campbell. How's it going, Laura?
It's going great. It is cold, but my cat still insists on going out to get mice. So that's not fun. I did a lot of remote viewing this past week. I tasked a lot of topics, and it was amazing.
Ooh.
I will share it if we have any time tonight or the next couple days. Stuff I never expected. Some deception as well.
Ooh, deception's a good one. Yes,
Yeah.
we always say
Yeah.
that the non-human intelligence is rather deceptive for that matter. They're not that forward, but they like to hide in the shadows and kind of watch us. Kind of creepies. Absolutely. Well, our next person coming in is a man from the country where all the U's are silent. Let's welcome our friend from the Great White North, Mr. Michael Sokoloff. How's it going, Michael?
It's going good, Thomas. It sounds like it's going to be a really good show today.
I hope so. Well, in that next, let's go ahead and turn the world upside down and shake it like a snow globe and see that, well, would you look at that? None of your business popped out. Well, it's actually Susan Ford. How's it going, Susan?
Yeah, pretty good, Thomas. Looking forward to tonight. It's going to be a great show.
And I have to apologize. The last time I brought out the picture of the beautiful and illustrious, well, those are two words that don't go together. When we're talking about Susan Goff, I mentioned, well, would you look at that? It's Susan Ford. And no, my friends, this picture that I brought up before, this is clearly not Susan Goff. I mean, that is Susan Goff. It's not Susan Ford. Sorry, Susan, I keep on screwing that one up.
No worries, Thomas. I watched the reaction of some of the people here, and they went, what?
Yeah.
I thought, I'm going to get hate mail. Oh, good-o. Thank you.
Sorry, Susan. Gotta have some fun with it, my friend. Oh, boy. One of those days. All right. Turning the world right side up and heading down to Southern California is the place you ought to be. Let's go ahead and welcome on our next panelist, Faze Will. How's it going, Will? And thank you for that super chat, by the way.
Hey, Thomas. It's a privilege being here. Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. That reminds us, to anyone else who's out there who ever thought about popping on a UFO live stream, that's what that link means at the top of the chat. It's pinned. Want to be part of the back? Follow the chat. Follow the link to join the chat. All right. Thank you for coming in today, Will. Wonderful to have you here. We got two more guests left, and we got actually three, well, no, two. Let's put our sights on the sky. Better at is the Manhattan, the place where Sully brought down his wonderful plane, but it's not that one. He's been in the audience forever, but now he's decided to come in the back. Welcome, Sully. How you doing?
Hey, Thomas, thank you for having me. I am looking forward to New Jersey drones and everything else that is going on. So happy to join, and thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming out here today. It's wonderful to have you. And our last person coming from the East Coast as well, it's our very own Tia Loreno. Watch out, guys. She's got an attitude, and she knows how to use it.
Well, thank you, Thomas.
Yeah.
That was an introduction.
I heard about you sticking up for us in some Twitter spaces. Thank you, girl. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Always, always.
Yeah, come out with the daggers and vipers drawn, my dear girl.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you for coming in. Appreciate your love and support. All right, and put our sights on the city of New York. One more time. Our very own Officer Stadenko of the Narcotics Squadron. No, it's our very own Mike Disclosure. How's it going, Mike?
Oh, it's going well, Thomas. I think we're going to have a very interesting conversations all about drones and other interesting stuff on tonight's Friday night episode.
Let's just say, I guess we're kind of calling it drones. It could be potentially UAP. But what we're kind of dealing with here, Mike, is someone out there, something has what we would consider a breakthrough technology, right?
That's what it sounds like to me, Thomas. Obviously, there is some unknown entity that has some breakthrough technology because these objects, call them what you will, our government likes to refer to them as drones. But yeah, it seems that there was an instance where an F-16 was going to engage, and one of these objects was able to outrun the F-16. So doesn't sound like an off-the-shelf type of a drone to me, but it's interesting.
Oh,
and
God,
we're going to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, it is. You know, luckily we're at a point now where there's a lot of coverage coming out from the news agencies at this one. I've got a story that's fresh off the presses. Oh, you got to be kidding me. You can't get the picture to download it? Oh, you don't tell me that. I have to do it a different way? Do I have to do it a different way? Come on, Downey. No, it's not going to like this Twitterverse picture, but I can go ahead and bring down the video anyway and show it in the browser. Let me go ahead and do that right now. All right, in our first video clip of the night, we've got Jesse Waters coming to us from Fox News talking about the story. And trust me, we've got a lot of pictures, a lot of statements, a lot of really good information. But this is a good way to get the conversation going here, my friends. Let's get this first video up here. Where does it go, Doc?
Fair use, Thomas.
Oh, no, this is Fox News. We don't need fair use for that, Mike. Let's go ahead and make sure.
Even better.
Not too big. Yeah, trust me. I know when to use that fair useness. All right, here we go. Let's get this. Let's just go to full screen and play it that way. Here we go. Let the audience enjoy it.
Sources tell us there's a possibility that these drones are actually very advanced military craft and that the Pentagon's testing these drones over friendly American territory. Drone warfare has become so critical, as we've seen in Ukraine, that the U.S. military needs to test American drone capability in residential and urban areas.
Oh, my God, I don't believe that at all. We'll talk about this in a second.
Oh, yeah.
The DOD's acting like these drones are a real concern. Listen.
This week, the Secretary signed a classified strategy for countering unmanned systems, more commonly known as drones, have the potential to pose both an urgent and enduring threat to U.S. personnel, facilities, and assets overseas, and increasingly in the U.S. homeland. As you know, the threats presented by these systems are changing how wars are fought. The DoD is orienting around a common understanding of the challenge and a comprehensive approach to addressing it.
Meanwhile, the FAA is issuing a warning if they catch whoever's flying these drones, they're going to hit them with fines and revoke their licenses.
But here's the thing, Jesse, you just said that this is the military doing that. So if it's truly the military doing that, Mike, why would they be re-emphasizing the point
of civilians?
About civilians and fines?
There seems to me like they're stepping over themselves 1 minute after the next. No, it's two different points, and neither one of them line up.
No.
It has nothing to do with it. No, this is not anything that's off the shelf, either civilian or military.
Yeah.
Bottom line, we know that.
In another story coming in hot off the presses, both Ocean and Monmouth counties in New Jersey are currently reporting being affected by these mysterious quote-unquote drones. Could something be coming from the Atlantic Ocean? Well, Mike, let me go ahead and bring up this image here really quick. It sure as heck looks like it, because I've got some more images to bring up that will really go ahead and show what's all being affected. And there's been people out there who have been recording, of which I've got some great shots we'll be showing shortly, that shows, yes, indeed, these craft are coming in from the ocean and moving inland. Now, we're not talking, just to be clear, we're not talking transmedium craft. There has been no transmedium sightings for these craft. What we're seeing is they are coming out from the area of the ocean, not coming up out of the ocean. Does that make sense? I don't want people to get excited and say, oh, yeah, transmedium, because it's not.
Right. It could be a staging area like a cargo ship or something from the ocean that's sending them inland. That's the only thing that makes sense. Right, Thomas?
Yeah, it's one of those things we're going to have to take a look at and try and figure out what the heck are we dealing with here. And there's just a lot of information for all of us to get through tonight. I'll do my best to try and cover a lot of the stuff. First thing we've got going on here is we have Douglas Steinhardt, who is from the New Jersey legislator. Douglas Steinhardt says, let's go ahead and bring this up. Oh, that ain't going to work. Here we go. Okay, I am calling for immediate joint legislation. Can't see that. Let me bring it down a little bit so you can't see it. Immediate joint legislation. Legislative hearings to address public safety concerns and the lack of government transparency regarding the still unexplained drone activity over critical infrastructure in Warren County and around. Now, remember, as far as this was going on, I believe we had a couple days ago, there was a inbound helicopter that was coming to I believe a hospital in New Jersey. I could be wrong on this, on the details, but close enough. But that helicopter had to be turned away because there was drone activity in the area that was preventing the helicopter from landing. So yes, this is affecting individuals and their ability to go ahead and actually, get the medical care they need. Now, what is our Representative Steinhardt saying here?
An air safety issue.
Yes, yes, it is. Let's get into it. Let me bring this up a little higher. Oh, this will work. The recurring issue of unidentified drones in areas of critical military and infrastructure security over private homes under the cloak of darkness and at all hours of the night have raised concerns among many, including residents in the 23rd Legislative District. The incomplete answers and evasive assurances given by the governor and others in authority positions like the military have raised more questions than they've answered. So we call on the Speaker of the Assembly and the President of the Senate in New Jersey to immediately convene a bipartisan panel to solicit statements, ask questions, and subpoena documents where necessary to ensure transparency, assuage public safety concerns, and make it clear to the residents of this district and the other 39 legislative districts in this state that we hear their concerns, take them seriously, and demand meaningful, credible answers. Public safety should be the only issue right now. The three of us volunteer to serve on any such committee. Now, the interesting thing about this, Mike, is we've got everything going on in New Jersey now. They're trying to bring out the truth. They've got this going on. But if we remember, in the past, these drones have been primarily seen coming in over the water and going over military bases. Now, if you look at the map on the East Coast, it's almost all military bases all over the place, right, Mike?
Because it's the coast, Thomas. So, yeah.
Right, yeah. Well, it's the East Coast primarily.
Yes.
Lots of military bases, lots of Air Force, lots of Navy, you name it, lots of CIA. It's all there. It's the East Coast. What do you expect? But the interesting thing about this is that when we had the drone sightings that were going on at Langley Air Force Base, they were coming in over the water, going to Langley and going back out. But what's going on now is it's really getting everyone's attention, Mike, is this is going over land where people live. It's highly populated. And for once, the public is getting a good eye of this, and there's a lot of great reporting going on it. So there's a change of sentiment on this because for once, the public is seeing what the military likes to deny and saying it's not a risk.
Yeah, well, listen, the government, the military could deny it all they want. But when civilians and residential people are affected by this, including the medical air transport that you just spoke about earlier, that's something that they can't ignore. And obviously, like it or not, mainstream media is going to have to report on it, don't you think?
Oh, gosh, yes, absolutely, Mike. And if you look at the details, I've got another tweet coming in here from earlier this evening, going ahead and saying, oh, I need to get this a little bit down, leader. Andrew Fierce sounds like he used to work at Abercrombie and Fitch and love the cologne like I do. I've got it right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me get this straight or not. There is a constellation of car-sized drones flying over New Jersey with unknown intent and capabilities, and nobody knows or is doing anything about it? Insane if true. The emperor has no clothes. Now, if I look for it, here's my little piece. Remember, folks, let me get back to this one here. The U.S. military, the DOD, the Air Force, Space Force, has the ability to detect an object this size of a basketball, let's say, and a soccer ball, somewhere between a grapefruit, and it goes down to grapefruit. Either way, this object this size, which is very much smaller than any of those drones, we can detect them from the surface of the Earth out to beyond the orbit of the moon in real time. And you can also go back in time to figure out where they came from, what they did, and where they're going to. And to say that our military, Mike, doesn't know where these things are coming from and where they're going back to, either they're really good liars, which we know they lie all the time, and we're the lowest of lows for trust in our government. But the reality of it is, they've got to know something on this stuff.
Yeah, obviously. How could they not? With the technology that they have a budget of nearly $1 billion a year. And what is it? $1 trillion, almost $1 trillion.
Yes.
$900 billion. Yeah, almost $1 trillion.
Almost $1
and
trillion.
They have no clue. Right. There's no way that they're not able to know where these objects are coming and going. Doesn't make any sense. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, as Sarah Maddie in the audience says, why don't they send up drones to check out these drones? I mean, heck, they could bring up a bunch of drones with a butterfly net and drop it on and catch them. They've got to do something. But, Sarah, again, zero risk. That is absolutely true. But it's one of these things, it's clearly we've got either a non-human intelligence doing some stuff to go ahead and get our attention, because clearly that's what this operation is about. Now, if this is potentially an adversary, what we're dealing with here, Mike, is truly a psychological operation. They could say they're out there for gathering evidence or intelligence, whatever reasons. I would say more than anything, what we're dealing with here is clearly a psychological campaign against the people of the United States of America. And this is where our military should be, protecting us, not just saying, oh, there's no threat. How do they know there's no threat, Mike?
We don't. And the fact that medical transports are unable to land, right there, it's having an impact that can't be ignored. So that's a threat.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, my friend. Let me go ahead and get this next one up here that sums up a lot of the great details. When we get the coming from a Facebook post, the New Jersey FBI says that the Black Hawk gets close to the drones, they go dark and disappear, undetectable by current United States technology. This is, yes, as Think Tank puts it, it's very juicy for that matter. Let me go ahead and bring up this image and we can go through the details on this one. This is from one of those Facebook posts where they're talking about stuff. There's a lot of people on the ground trying to check stuff out. Let's get to the details of it. By now, you are all probably aware of the increase in reported drone activity in our area. Today, I attended a meeting at the Essex OEM EOC. Here is the update we received through the FBI and the New Jersey State Patrol. Before we get to there, Susan Ford, you have your hand up.
Yeah, the government's lying to us. Simple as that. They're telling us porcupines. They know where these things are going. They know everything about them. And they're just lying.
Yes, it is.
Well, no, they're not lying. They're just not saying anything.
Okay. I just realized the audio we're pushing out is broken, and I'm putting out 7.1 audio, and it's really screwed up, so I have to... Hey, Chad, is the audio working all right? Can everyone hear us fine, I think? And if so, you can hear the audio clips and everything fine. If it's okay, I'm not going to screw with anything. No, you guys can hear me. You're on different audio. Audio is perfect. I'm not going to touch anything. We'll leave it where it is. Yeah, I have it on 7.1 audio. Don't ask, it's a long one. All right, let's get into this. So, multiple reports of organized drone activity across Morris, Somerset, and Essex County. These events started approximately 2 weeks ago. So this has been going on for some time, Mike.
We talked about this before the show. Yeah, about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we covered it when it first started in New Jersey.
Yeah,
remember?
thanks to Mike Morris, the attorney to the EBEs, who shared that information with us.
He did.
The drones are varying in size from a little over a foot to over 10 feet wide. Initial intelligence is showing that these are military-grade drones that are undetectable by current United States technology. This is what I've been talking about, Mike. We're dealing with a breakthrough technology with these drones that is beyond our capabilities. This is the kind of stuff that should keep the people in our DOD awake at night instead of worrying about pronouns.
Because let's take a quick look at that for a second and try to break it down. We have an object that's airborne, a drone, as they're calling it. It is a physical object, and as such, our sensor systems, satellites, and radar should be able to pick it up. The fact that it's undetectable to our sensor systems, how do they explain that? You can't put an object or a helicopter, a metallic object, and have it hover and be invisible to our radar, our satellite. No.
Everything.
That defies physics. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
And we're also talking about systems that have hardened technology, meaning that we've got EM guns or that shoot our electromagnetic radiation at these craft, and it absolutely has no effect on these craft whatsoever, which means they're hardened, meaning that the electronics within it have been designed and created to take our latest and greatest. They call them Ghostbusters, eco packs, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
And they're completely, they don't work. Have they ever worked is the question. On anything more than a DJI drone. We'll find out.
Yeah, well, a BB gun will take a DJI drone down, so not complicated.
There we go, exactly. Let's move on a little bit. Blackhawks and other U.S. aircraft have been launched to try and intercept these drones. However, when they get into the area, the drones go dark and disappear. These drones have been reported to be traveling over 100 miles an hour and are capable of payload and weapon systems. The battery systems are like nothing we have ever seen before. Well, you know, some of the best battery technology we have these days, Mike, isn't coming from the good old US of A. It's coming from China.
Yes, sir. It most definitely is.
Yeah. Now, really quick, I do have this message up. Would you look at that, Mike? We almost have 600 people watching the show tonight with only 97 likes. What are we doing wrong, folks? Do us a favor. Give us a thumbs up if you're having a good time so far. If not, give us a thumbs down. We'll take one or the other. Why am I asking? Because the more people that give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, it helps YouTube go ahead and share our stream in the algorithm. And more importantly, if you're enjoying this broadcast, want to keep up to date on the latest UFO news, do us a favor. Subscribe to Disclosure Tonight. As the founder behind Disclosure Tonight, I would love to have you as a regular here on Disclosure Tonight. And this is the only way we can grow our show. Remember, Mike, the cost of admission is free. And if you don't like what you're doing here, what we're giving you, we have what, Mike?
Double your money back guarantee.
Yeah. All right, let's get on to this. I appreciate everyone's love and support. Look at that. We're up to 158 likes already. Thank you, audience. We appreciate that. Now let's get back to the story here. What to do if the incident involving drones occurs in your town, in our town, or your town for that matter. Ship supervisors should notify the command staff in an email and group text message. We are awaiting a QR code reporting form from Essex County. Once I receive it, I will forward to you. This form will go directly to the FBI in Essex County. For now, just document the incident in the CAD. If pictures can be taken by the officers, that would be helpful. Well, yeah, I would certainly hope so. Corporal Abe, your thoughts or question?
I just wanted to respond to a question that came from the chat about why are there no U.S. military drones overhead. There actually are. I pay attention to the flight radar pretty regularly, and right now there's actually a global hawk off the coast of New Jersey. And over the last couple days, there's been 2 British Reapers down in Southern California, New Mexico, Arizona area, and some civilian DoD drones also are flying, looking at the situation.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Just to go ahead and give people an idea, I guess, yeah. I didn't realize the Reaper drones were from the United Kingdom.
That's the funny thing about it.
Is that from BAE Systems?
They are created from BAE Systems.
Yeah, there you go.
Correct. But we've got 2 that are actually flying the last week and a half in SoCal and New Mexico. So I don't know if they're down there training. I don't know if they're down there looking for UFO. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they're flying.
Yeah, absolutely. I did not know that. Thank you for that wonderful insight, my friend. Andy W., you have your hand up.
Bit of an update from in the week. Our friend Liberty
Wings, yes.
Liberty Wings was doing a live broadcast on, I think it was Tuesday. I've lost my days because I work silly hours. And he had a really interesting incident then. He actually had an object, a light that appeared in the sky. At the same time that the light appeared, there were dogs in his vicinity, quite a large amount of dogs. They all went absolutely nuts. They were howling, they were yowling, really. And even, he said, even it sounded like there was a donkey in the distance. Now, around about that time as well, they weren't flying aircraft out, but they had some F-35s flying in and nearly cleared the airwax. I was wearing headphones. Those things were loud even on speakers. The dogs were quite happy with them. They're used to these planes. But just when this light was sighted, found it really interesting that the animals went a bit haywire. So I think I don't think he's actually. I know he was out last night, but I don't know if he was broadcasting or not.
Yeah, I haven't seen him going and doing that lately. Boss Tank, you're getting nasty. I put you in timeout for 5 minutes. Think about what you're saying, my friend. Thank you. Sorry about that, Andy. I got a little bit. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things. I guess we'll have to go ahead and find those clips to find out what's been going on with Liberty Wings. We can probably cover that in tomorrow's show and focus.
He's in the chat at the moment.
Oh,
Thomas.
he is.
He's just hi, Liberty.
Hey, Liberty.
Great to see you. Glad you can make it.
Yeah, absolutely. Great guy.
Coming back and let us know what's been happening.
Oh, we'd love that. And if not today, tomorrow would be great as well. We're at 10 p.m. London time as well, live.
Yeah.
So it's not like 3 o'clock. Was it 3 o'clock in the morning by you now or 4?
20 to 3.
20 to 3, yeah. But hey, Liberty's here. Wonderful. Just to go ahead and show some people, what do Chinese drones look like? At least some of them. I know okay, you gotta chill. I will get you a cookie in time. Let me get to this. Here are we at. I know. Huskers, go ahead, my friend.
I'm just trying to recall, but if I remember correctly, when we were having all the drone kind of things happening over the Colorado, Utah, Nebraska, Wyoming area a few years ago, that was like right around the same time of year.
Yeah.
Because I remember going back for the holidays and then driving back across and actually seeing some of that.
Yeah, but this is the time they had drones
at the same time.
If you remember, that's when they had drone motherships, and these drones were huge, and they were in a search pattern like they were looking for something that maybe crashed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just kind of an interesting similarity. Thanks, Thomas.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming out with that question, Huskers. I appreciate that. Now, what do I have a picture up here of? These are some Chinese drones. Just to show you, yes, they do make big ones. That is a semi pulling it. And they do have some ones with interesting technology where it looks more like a plane, but then it has a propeller here and 2 propellers on each wing. So it's not, and it looks like those things can actually turn. So it's actually something that can do a vertical takeoff like an F-35 and actually then go forward like a regular plane. Interesting to see what kind of technology that they have out in China. Now I have a bunch of other stuff. Now I've got another breaking story that's coming to us. This is from 5:30 this morning on NBC News. Let's go ahead and bring this story up next. Thank you for Twitter for blocking my down. Mocha, not going to work with me. Be nice. Let's get to this next video coming in from NBC News early this morning. Let's go ahead and play this and see where they're going to take us on this story. Here we go. Let's get into video full and get this started. Here we go, everybody.
Drones that people are spotting flying over New Jersey in the middle of the night. Look at this. One woman there took the video you're seeing. So that's it. It looks like it's flying pretty low. And from that perspective, it looks very large, right? And all those lights in the sky that you see there, see those lights? Those are apparently drones as well, they say, seeming to fly in a V formation, with the whole saga stressing people out nearby.
We're all completely unnerved. I didn't sleep last night. When I would get up and look out my window at 2 a.m., 4 a.m., they were still hovering. I got up at 5:30 this morning and they were still there. As the sun was starting to rise, they went back in the same direction they came from. And I expect they'll be back as soon as the sun goes down tonight.
Let's bring in Tom Winter. What's up with the mysterious drones, Tom?
Right, Allie. Well, not to go all Scully and Mulder on us here.
Do it.
Law enforcement is concerned about this. They have put out a statement, the local sheriff's office and local prosecutor's office in Morris County. So Morris County, New Jersey, pretty much the center of where this activity has been occurring, along with Somerset County. So they're about an hour-ish west of here. Don't throw things at your screen. I know that it could be double that amount of time given traffic, but just to give folks a sense of where we are in referring to New York City. As far as the size of them, multiple eyewitnesses have reported, and obviously we've seen the video here, you've just pointed it out, the size of these, it's not quite clear to law enforcement that they are car-sized at this point, but they do not appear to be kind of the homemade type that would fit on a desk. Whether or not they're the kind that would fit in a garage, well, that's going to be a bigger question. They really want the evidence here, Hallie. They want to be able to get their hands on this or know where they are flying from in an effort to try to figure out, okay, who's doing this, what are they about, and what are they specifically looking at? But officials in New Jersey stress, look, there's no indication at this point that they're a threat to the public. We'd certainly like to know what's going on, and they are encouraging people to call these in.
Why would the FBI be getting involved in this here?
A great question. So the airspace is the FBI's domain. So when the FAA sees something that is a potential violation of federal law as it pertains to the skies, that's a time where the FBI would get involved. And certainly if we're talking about multiple counties or we're talking about something that could have come from outside of New Jersey, perhaps from Pennsylvania, perhaps from New York State or the water, they want to have the ability to kind of expand this investigation. And I spoke to them just before speaking with you tonight, and they are looking for people to give them some tips and to kind of coordinate the response to this. Also figure out what are they actually looking at. There are a couple of military sites in the area, but it's not clear yet that that's necessarily the focus of what these drones are about. But they're definitely keeping an eye on the situation. You know, there have been a number of reports of these unidentified aerial phenomena, Hallie, across the country and on the West Coast. So, the government is concerned about this.
We really don't have any clues? Because right now it feels like this is so bizarre. The TLDR is like large drones fly over towns all night in the middle of the night and nobody knows where they're from. Like that's really, we really don't have any little like signals. Maybe it's so-and-so or whatever company or something.
I am not holding anything back from you. Nobody has whispered anything from me. I am promising you. And by the way, the Morris County Airport that's closest to all this, close to Bedminster, New Jersey, where Donald Trump's golf course is, where he is often, you know, Hallie, from experience covering the Trump administration, that they are certainly aware of potential aerial threats. This is an important airport. It's close to New York City. So it's not as if they're watching these drones kind of fly off into the night and just saying, oh, well, maybe we'll call somebody someday. Like, this area is familiar with it. The New Jersey.
Thanks for watching.
So it sounds like a heated conversation on this, Mike. You know, this is definitely an area of contention for the public on the East Coast.
It absolutely is. I could tell you that we now have high definition video of these drones in New Jersey. I just sent it to you via DM on your Twitter account. It was reposted by Richard Geldrich, who are friends of ours. We know him.
Oh, yeah, I've got a
It's
bunch of those.
47 seconds. Take a look at the one I just sent you.
All right, give me a second to go ahead and bring this up. Let me go ahead and show. There was one of the people we're watching, Spac Daddy Doug, is out there in New Jersey looking for drones at this point. I've got some great video footage from him trying to track down what's going on the East Coast. Well, that's going in. I want to go ahead and take a look as what does Mike have here, and I think I may already have it in my in my list of things to go ahead. And yeah, I've got this one in my footage to go ahead and bring up. Yeah, okay, let me just bring this one up here really quick. The first one Mike is talking about here is we've got a craft.
There they are.
Oh, Jesus. No, not that. Let me go ahead and bring it around. Bring that back down. Yeah, okay. So the first one that we've got going on here.
This is a very high definition.
Well, it's high definition, but this is one of the ones I wanted to bring up and kind of show it. This one almost kind of looks like a plane, where you've got the wings going, you've got the whole bit, but as it's turning in the air, right? That's not the person going ahead and turning their camera. That's actually the person going ahead and actually the craft going and slowly turning. So that image I had of a drone that was earlier, where it showed that it had those particular blades in the front that could go one way or the other, and the one in the back, that kind of points towards that kind of technology. But clearly, what we're talking about here, Mike, is something that's gone and looks to disguise itself as a plane when it's truly just not a plane. It's some kind of hybrid craft. And again, these are the kind of things that are not going to be off the shelf for anybody to go ahead. And you can see even from the front, it has a relatively bright lens that it is actually getting some flaring going on, like as if you had astigmatism, but that's just due to reflections getting out of the actual lens of the phone itself. Interesting, though, isn't it, Mike?
It absolutely is. This is giving us a really close, detailed look at what these objects are. And I could tell you that doesn't look like any military drone I've ever seen.
No.
And certainly nothing off the shelf.
Clearly what we're seeing here, Mike, is a new type of technology. And I'm not, would we say that the U.S. military would be going ahead and testing these kinds of things over the general public, over areas that are generally populated? No, because if something goes wrong, what are they going to do? If it falls, it goes down. It's the same reason why we don't shoot this kind of stuff down. And at least that's the excuse they give, because they're afraid of what goes on with the general public. But I think our DOD needs to grow a set of balls and needs to stop being so namsy-pamsy and afraid to actually do something when we actually have the airspace over our sovereign country, unless they're saying they're sovereign citizens, which I don't think they are, over our country, over the domain we should have over our country. And we have these coming in from the ocean or coming in from offshore, and they're violating our airspace, and we're afraid to do anything. It just doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't. They should be a little bit more proactive, and they should be going and trying to take these things down. Look, when we had we were covering the European Parliament, and Francisco Guerrero we interviewed him on the show.
Yep.
One of the things that came out at the Parliament was that the Chinese government is also dealing with UAP objects that are unknown. And the government issued a standing order to the military that is a direct violation of their national security and to protect their citizens, that their military is ordered to shoot down any unknown objects in their airspace, which is more than our government is doing to protect our citizens.
Right. Now, there has been one report out of China, saying, with one video, saying, look, we have drones flying over our cities in China. Granted, there are a lot of drones in China. There are a lot of drones in China, like there's chins. Let's go ahead and just say that up front. Nothing derogatory here. It's just the absolute truth. More importantly, there are 1.41 billion people in China right now, right?
Correct.
We've got one report from one person in China. For me, that just kind of sounds like I'm going to leave it off to the side because there's not a sizable amount of sample like we're getting from all the people who are seeing these drones over the eastern seaboard.
Right. And there's no known orders to shoot anything down or intercept anything. So we're basically, which is I think why the New Jersey legislature is obviously trying to do something about this because they're not getting any help from the government. So we're on our own. Basically,
yeah,
that's what it seems like.
Yeah. Now,
No
Mick
help
West,
from the government.
Mick West is even getting involved in this one. I wonder if he's a representative for the government to try and say it's just drones or it's planes, for that matter. In one of the clips that Mick West was going ahead and taking a look at, if anyone out there doesn't know who Mick West is, he's a big denier in chief. He basically says anything that's real is not real, just denies everything. He's a has-been PlayStation 1 programmer back from the day. He worked on, or PlayStation 2, he worked on Tony Hawk back in the day and then moved on in his life. Let's go ahead and bring this up here really quick. Video, document 3. All right, so what we've got here is we've got an example of what a jetliner looks like with all the lights that are out there. We've got different jetliners kind of showing what's going on, and none of them align with the pattern of the object that we just saw. Clearly, it's not a regular plane that's up there flying around. It's not a 747. It's not a 737. It's not an A340 or A320 for that matter. It's something else that's clearly not a regular plane. Nick, you have your hand up, my friend.
Yes. Do you believe that to be a president to war, like it's gonna be a war planning from the aliens? Like, they want us to be known. So I think it's going to happen in the future, Thomas.
I think whatever's going on, Nick, whatever is going on, whether it's from a human intelligence or a non-human intelligence, meaning from ET, like a UAP versus a drone for that matter, whatever's going on, Nick, clearly they want to be seen, and they're doing everything they can to be seen. They're going repeatedly over areas that are, populated, for that matter.
Do you believe that in the future they could be like show us themselves during the daytime? Do you believe that the daytime is next? They're showing us in the nighttime.
Will they come out in the daytime? I don't know. Maybe, but there seems to be something going on in the evenings that keeps them locked away with whatever's going on. But either way, the activity is going, and after 10 days, it's not slowing down, Nick. It's continuing, just like the stuff we still see going on in the United Kingdom that Liberty Wings is going ahead and covering. That we're going to
Laura said in February, Laura said that in February that there might be a mass sighting in February.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out, Nick. Now, if I could get back to the story here at hand, I've got another document to bring up. This is coming from Space Daddy Doug again, taking some pictures last night, and he's got pictures coming in showing the drones flying from the ocean up the New Jersey. Where'd it go? Dang it. Here we go. Up from the New Jersey coast. Let me get down to this one here. Here we go, so you can read. From the New Jersey coast and into and around Morris County. Here's a formation of them flying tonight. He counted 9 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm sure there's a 9th one out here somewhere. There you go. 9 drones coming in from the ocean, coming into the east. This is the first time we've had people reporting seeing these things coming from the water. More importantly, what was I going to get into? Daddy Doug has got a great map here I want to go ahead and bring up next. Let me bring this in a little bit more, get it to it. This is a map going ahead and showing New Jersey, showing all the different places that they've been seen. They've been seen in Dover. They've been seen near Somerville. They've been seen on the East Coast, in a couple places from Forked River all the way out, and they seem to be coming in from here going across all the way up. Again, these craft are moving in excess of 100 miles an hour. So these aren't just your normal drones. Corporal Abe, you have your hand up, my friend.
Yeah, just a couple things. One, I wanted to piggyback off of what you and Mike said about it not being the United States military, and we would not use our own technology against ourselves. For a perfect instance, what you mentioned earlier about the life flight medevac helicopter being stopped, that was a huge thing. And I used to be a volunteer firefighter in the Delaware County, Pennsylvania area. Everybody in the tri-state area read, or whoever had a radio on during that shift, heard that a drone stopped the helicopter from landing to save somebody's life. So, you know, like that's, somebody's going to want to be held accountable for what's going on there. And that's a big deal to every first responder. Is this situation going to continue to happen? And based off your map, I'm from that area again. And it's funny how the drones are avoiding Fort Dix, which is like right in the middle of that New Jersey area, and Philadelphia International Airport, which has like the ability to detect a lot of things. Fort Dix can respond to anything flying over Philadelphia International Airport within seconds. So it's just funny how it's avoiding that. And that's more to my point that it's not coming from us. But great work, guys.
I'd have to agree with you on that one. It's just something we have to keep our eyes up on. It's something we're going to keep our eyes to the sky on this one if we could. If you're having a good time tonight, folks, do us a favor. Would you look at that? We have 989 people watching the show tonight. Mike, you were right. And we have 232 likes. If you're having a good time, do us a favor. Give us a thumbs up. And if not, give us a thumbs down. We'll take one or the other. It's the only way we can go ahead and drive more, if you want to call it, people to be coming to watch our show. It's the only way YouTube will go ahead and share the show is with more participation from the audience. And more importantly, if you haven't subscribed to Disclosure tonight, please hit that subscribe button. We've had a record week last week, almost 500 new subs. We'd love to match it again this week. Please subscribe to Disclosure tonight. We'd love to have you here as a regular at Disclosure tonight. And remember, if you're not happy with what we do here, we have a double your money back guarantee. Yes, if you're not having a good time, we'll give you double your money back of absolutely nothing for being a part of it. What a great show. What are you thinking so far, Mike?
Oh, this is a lot of interesting details that we're getting into in the conversation. I mean, the fact that this is continuing day in and day out with impunity over residential areas, and it seems like the authorities don't have any answers or any way to prevent this from continuing. That's a news story no matter what we were talking about, especially this.
Well, just coming in off the press, Mike. Well, not off the press, but necessarily off our areas on Twitter. We go ahead and track. Yes, we've got another image that's coming recently. Remember that plane we saw that was making a big right angle turn? Well, if you look at it, we have a higher resolution image from the bottom saying it doesn't. This plane doesn't bank; it just slowly turns. You know, who created this machine? And why can't it be traced back to the origin? That's the big question I have, Mike. Again, we have the ability to track everything, no matter its size, from the size of a grapefruit out to beyond the moon, and we can pick up an object that's got to be probably 15, 20 feet across.
At least.
Yeah.
No, this is something that's, you know, it's not a balloon. It's not swamp gas. It's a physical object that our sensor systems should have no problem tracking and picking up.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, my friend. I'd have to agree. Andy, you have your hand up on this one. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm used to seeing planes fly over all the time. I'm right on the international flight path. I'm also on the local flight path to the local airport. I've never seen navigation lights on a plane like that.
Neither have I. I mean, you look at it. You've got two lights at the sides. It looks like more like a bar light with other lights going around it. You've got some red here along with that, but then you've got the center part of the plane, and then you've got these additional structures that are off to the side. That's clearly not a regular plane. Let's just say that. And based on its morphology of how it looks, and more importantly, how it's moving in the sky, it's not a regular plane. I'd have to agree with you that 100%.
I can tell you that those are not navigation lights. They may be lights being emitted from sensor systems on board these craft.
Right.
Because Andy's right. I've never seen navigation lights on any aircraft that look anything like this. So I've heard with people that I've talked to already before the show tonight that it could also be the light coming off of types of sensor systems for surveillance.
Right.
Which is why they're here. What else could they be doing?
Well, they're either sensing and stuff and picking stuff up, or they're clearly here for a psychological operation, which they're winning at this point, to go ahead and shake up the people of the United States of America, to go ahead and show, no, our skies are not that secure, and no, we don't have the abilities to stop these things from coming in night after night, day after day. I mean, heck, there are still things coming up in the United Kingdom since we got the nukes that were brought in.
Right, and it's consistent. Look at what was going on over in Langley, and we covered that as well. This was going on for almost 2 weeks.
Yeah.
This is Daryl gave us a super chat.
Yeah, Daryl wants to know in the video, Mike, is there any audio? Could you hear the drone? No, the audio, there was nothing to be heard in those videos. There was no sound of a drone.
Right.
That were going on in those videos.
Nothing. Yeah, absolutely nothing. Sergio Cotto had sent us another.
Yeah,
super
here's
chat.
$2 to buy some tinfoil. Well, we've got, yeah, you know what? My hat needs some fresh tinfoil, although I got a fresh roll from Costco upstairs. Yes, folks. Yeah, we've got the tinfoil. Bring out the tinfoil hats and pass it to the people who don't believe. Now we've got another video, another piece of information coming in from Toothpole. Why in the F does it look like a quadcopter and a plane at the same time? What are we talking about? This looks like another video, just another one of those videos out there of that same craft from a different perspective. Mike, although it's small and you really can't see it that good, this is the kind of thing I'm looking for. When you have a mass sighting going on, and that's what we're dealing with. Not like what we saw out of China, where you had one person seeing this thing and reporting on it. Here we have multiple people from multiple locations giving us videos of that same craft from all over the place. That really, for me, that means what we're talking about here isn't someone trying to fake a UFO for fame. This is about our residents of the United States of America seeing these things and trying to report on it and bring out the truth. I love it.
Yeah, no, that's the citizens stepping up, the public.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. Yeah, I love it too. You're right.
Let's see. I've got a link here that says source from Tangle Ditty, or Ditty, location in New Jersey, USA. Let's get down to this one here. We'll get right to you, Chris. UFO UAPs being chased by F-16 fighter jets now. Let's see if there's any audio.
Marmora, New Jersey. Here they are. And they do sound like drones.
Okay, this one they say they sound like drones. Well, we're hearing some jet engines in the far distance, which is not a drone. That definitely sounds like
look,
it.
Looks like a triangle. Look. It looks like a fucking triangle. Go. Well, here they are. They look like a fucking triangle.
It's a fucking goat. Well, F you Friday, my friend. Thank you for the salty language. Let's go ahead and get back to that a little bit more and just turn it down so we can hear the rest of it.
Here they are, fucking.
All right, scroll through it. Yeah, we've got we got one thing chasing another thing. Clearly, if we've got a F-15 or F-16 going after a drone, well, I have to say one thing. Whatever's going on and flying through the screen, we have multiple things with the flashes almost synchronized. Chris Aiken, you have your hand up, my friend.
Hey, yeah, it's been a while since I mean, I watch your show, but it's been a while since I've taken part in it. I really think that the uptick in activity is a combination of more people are paying attention because of things like News Nation and all that kind of stuff. So we are getting more things recorded.
Well, the thing is, though, there are more things to record in this point when a lot of times they're having sightings going on when there's nothing actually to record. But the last time we had major sightings, I believe that was off of San Diego, Tijuana, the southwestern coast of the United States, when there were a lot of people who all had videos of this. So this isn't just down to, it's being on the news, but this has been going on for 10 days, Chris.
Right. And I've been paying attention to a lot of this stuff, how they're near where we have nuclear weapons overseas, our stuff, and other people's also. And I haven't really said anything about this. Like over the summer, I drove to go see Chris Bledsoe.
Mm-hmm.
It was for something totally different because I have a child that is sick. And so I met him, and I've been in contact with him, text messaging, probably like once or twice every month since then. I'll ask questions. And I didn't see anything when I went to go see him because I just kind of showed up there because I couldn't get in touch with him. So my wife and I and my 2 kids, we went to a parking garage right near her work at a hotel. And he told me to go look, from the east, come from the east to the west. And he sent them there that night. And I asked them when they were doing all that stuff in the sky and stuff, the orbs, and they reply doing the pulses like that. I asked out loud, I said, are you going to help us to make sure that there are no like nuclear weapons or anything like that? And I got a flash from that.
Gotcha. Interesting enough.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Chris. If we could, I want to go ahead and focus on the drones we've got going on here. Coming into us from the Evesham, but let's talk about that at another time if we could. I'd love to circle back on that. Thank you. If we could, Evesham Police Department in New Jersey, brief says they saw 7 to 8 UAP drones, but couldn't do anything about them. He said due to strong winds, hobby drones would not be able to fly. These drones were very large in the size of SUVs, which would need to land, but they found nothing. Let me play this audio clip here, video clip coming to us from AVM, who's a subscriber of the show, and it looks like, wow. Before we get to that, we've got non-stick meat coming in. Yes, non-stick meat. If you like non-stick meat, you should try our solution of Avi Lube. There you go, my friend. All right, so non-stick meat says, yes, we like having a fun time, and we're serious about not being serious sometimes. But before we get into it, my Ring app is lighting up with people reporting drones near Watchung, New Jersey. Well, hopefully we can go ahead and find that. Let's go ahead in the meantime and play this clip here. Here we go.
Starting around 8 o'clock, we started receiving multiple calls from residents about...
Oh, God, this is really quiet. Hold on.
...in the area. Officers went out to investigate. Yeah, so last night, starting around 8 o'clock, we started receiving multiple calls from residents about drone activity in the area. Officers went out to investigate. The calls and the sightings continued from 8 o'clock to about 11:15 last night, when the drone activity moved away from us into Cherry Hill. We had varying reports of anywhere between 4 to 8 drones that were flying through the area. They weren't like the normal, drone that somebody would purchase and use in their home. They were large. Some were described as large as like an SUV, had blinking lights on them. We checked the area, we monitored their activity, and up until they left the area. We contacted State Police, Regional Operations Center, to make notification to them of the activity, and also to try to determine, who is operating these drones. At this time, we're still investigating. We have no information of who the drones belong to, what their purpose was. We are looking at possible connections to northern New Jersey that's experiencing the same type of incidents. But we do ask anyone with information about, who's operating these drones, the identity of the drones. They seem to be, larger than, the hobbyist, and due to the number of them, as well would classify as most likely not a hobbyist that's out doing these.
Chief, we know this has been going on in North Jersey. I'm curious, what was your reaction when you heard reports here in Evesham?
There's definitely concern.
Really quick, if we could, Andy, you have your hand up, my friend.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, you know, we hear it here over there in for you guys in the States. Nobody's been arrested. No drones have been recovered. We've had it here at Lake and Heath and Milden Hall and all around those areas. Still no reports of anybody being arrested or any objects or drones recovered. So you'd think if there were arrests, they would be shouting all over the place. That's, you know, quite noticeable.
I'd have to agree, because if they did and they found the perpetrators of this, Andy, they love to take them out and parade them in front of everyone and say, these are the people, we got them by the scruff of their neck, that have been doing this. But there is no one today yet, right?
Yeah, we had this with, again, the Heathrow incident we had back in 2019. They arrested 2 people who were subsequently released without charge and who actually were able to claim compensation for wrongful arrest. So far, no drones or any objects have been recovered from that, and nobody's ever been arrested.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the same sort of incidents here now.
Yeah. Hey, Liberty Wing, if you'd like to, I see you're in the chat. Would you be interested in coming on the show tomorrow at 10 p.m. UK time? We'd love to have you on the show to talk about everything you've been involved in, my friend. Please let us know. Join the back afterwards. Send something in the chat. We'd love to have you on here. We have a regular call-in. It'd be the same way for you to get in. We'd love to have you here tomorrow, my friend, to talk to our audience from across the pond. Let me continue this video. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate your comments.
I mean, you know, if it, you know, we do get reports of drone activity, but they're usually like, you know, ones you purchase, you know, operate. Last night was interesting just because of the wind that was present. One of those small, you know, hobbyist drones wouldn't be able to fly. These larger, you know, I guess professional drone activity that was out there gave greater concern, especially in their ability to navigate the weather.
Any idea who is behind it and what the point of it is? What are they doing?
We don't know. I mean, they were operating throughout the township last night, and then moved into Cherry Hill, ultimately heading towards Philadelphia. No, we don't know. I mean, they have to be landing somewhere. They're very large, and you know, I know we're working with the state police and ultimately with federal authorities to try to figure that out.
And lastly for me, how about the other chiefs in South Jersey? Because I saw I'm in all these different community forums, and you know, everyone's talking about this in different towns. Are you working with the chiefs across the region?
We are, yeah. We're working with, I know Mount Laurel received complaints last night, Cherry Hill received complaints last night, and Medford Township received complaints last night. From what I understand, though, complaints and sightings occurred as far as Ocean County. So.
Yeah, I saw something online, exit 135 on the Parkway, and they had video of it.
Oh, did they?
Do you guys have video?
We don't. We just have video that like residents submitted, and a lot of that stuff is posted on like local social media, but nothing that would like give you anything of like a clear view. It's dark out. These things have lights on them. You basically see the lights.
Chief, are they hovering over neighborhoods or any certain buildings? Are they targeting a certain area?
Yeah, I mean, we did look to see if, you know, like they were hovering over critical infrastructure. As of last night, there was at times that they were hovering. There was times that they were moving. We were unable to determine if they were looking at critical infrastructure at that time, but it is something that we're definitely looking at.
And you mentioned state police, and you also mentioned federal authorities. Are you working with the FBI, who's also investigating in North Jersey?
Correct, yes. Yeah, we are.
What's the takeaway here, biggest message to people who live here?
I mean, you know, at night it's going to be hard to capture it. If somebody sees something that, you know, any recording, you know, I would try to get clear pictures of it, clear images of it, and then to share them with us. The more information we can get from them, the more likelihood it's going to be that we're going to be able to rectify this.
Just because I do drones and that kind of stuff. FAA, is that a particular outfit that you're working with? And do they have any indication of anything at all? I mean, I'll bet they could probably see it. Somewhere.
Yeah, we're working with them to gather all the information. We have nothing to release right now that's going to be helpful, but we are working with the FAA as well. We were in contact with them throughout last night, and the investigation's going on, continuing to work with them as well.
You have maybe extra patrols out tonight to determine or to be in place in case this happens again?
We are. So we put information out to our police officers today. It's a normal process, just to give them intelligence information. Hey, this is what we kind of know right now, so they're aware of the activity. And yeah, they'll definitely be mindful of that throughout the day and pretty much the weeks to come. If there's any more activity, they'll report it. They were out last night. They were reporting sightings throughout the night, and and trying to determine if we could get numbers off of them or something that would help us identify who these are.
You're probably telling your officers to take video and pictures too, right?
Yeah, we were trying last night, but again, you're not going to get clear images in the dark with something that's dark colored that's lit up. You're just going to really get pictures of the light, and that's not helpful.
Do you guys have any kind of, I guess, not to let the cat out of the bag or anything, but would you scramble anything in terms of your own drone people or choppers or any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we will work with the state police and the FBI and guidance with that. We don't have anything like that here. Yeah.
Thank you, Chief.
All right.
Interesting enough. What are your thoughts, Andy? There's a lot of conversation on this going back and forth. And, what we're hearing here is what we usually don't get is you have someone in the government trying to give out answers about things you're seeing in the sky versus saying, oh, there's nothing here. We have nothing to look at, et cetera, et cetera. It's clearly a government actually trying to inform the people. It's refreshing.
Yeah, it's refreshing in that sense, but again, there's no substance to anything. They seem, they do seem just as clueless, dare I say, as the rest of us.
Yeah, I would have to agree. If I could call on an old friend of mine, probably the person who I've known the longest in the chat, Greg, you know who I'm talking about, my friend. I'd love to hear your insight on this. Clearly we're looking at a technology that is a breakthrough and beyond what even our government has the ability. They can track this stuff. They can figure out where it's coming from, where it's going to. They can see what it's doing, but it just seems like everything we have in our arsenal to try and figure this stuff out isn't working. What are your thoughts on this stuff? I'd love to hear your insight.
Well, my beliefs on us testing each other, our own weapons against each other. I'm a firm believer in that. I think it's the safest way, the most practical way. And plus, it tests on both ends. As far as the exotic material or propulsion, I mean, as well as I do, what we see today was 30 to 60 years ago. So who knows what's out there now? And there's been papers back since the 1890s of people who contain gravity. So. Right. It wouldn't surprise me.
These things don't look like they're having an issue with gravity. It looks like some kind of advancement of drone technology we have with the blades spinning and everything to a degree. But but their battery life. But here's the thing: it's not only operating for hours at end at huge speeds. I mean, if you have drones going that fast, if they were actually consuming fuel, they'd be consuming like 3 gallons every 10 minutes. It's a huge amount that they're going to be going through. But more importantly, it's cold on the East Coast right now, especially at night. And if that's battery technology, you know what Teslas are like when they're trying to deal with batteries in the cold. Their range is reduced.
Well, not only that, but if you're talking like regular, like off the shelf, like fuel and everything, but some of these could be actually nuclear powered. It would give them almost endless power. And as far as, the color, like seeing if you flare, whether dark or hot, the stealth bomber does the same thing. It just basically reflects. So it actually looks cold through thermal.
Right. That's a good point. We haven't seen any thermal imagery of these craft. That would be interesting to see. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I guess for the people out there who are dealing with off the New Jersey shore, I believe it was, they were going ahead. It was a Nightcrawler crew, Mike. Was that who it was? And they were doing all the different recording of craft that were coming out of the ocean.
That was in Jones Beach, Long Island.
Right.
It was the Tedesco
It's not
brothers.
that far from here, though, relatively speaking.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And it's bordering the Atlantic Ocean as well.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the footage that we covered that they had at night of these objects that were lit up. It was amazing. And the Tedesco brothers are actively involved in this investigation right now that's going on for all of these drones in the area.
Yeah. Now,
and because they're drone experts, by the way, they build drones. That's what their day job is.
there's a lot of companies out there who could potentially create technology that's similar to this, but if they were to take their technology and put it against the United States citizens and violate airspace and violate regulations in a blue-on-blue test, that would just blow everything out of the water for the reality and the cooperation between the U.S. the federal government and the state government. It's just one of those things. Now, you know how we trust or don't trust the U.S. government at all, right, Mike? Or
correct.
The federal government, for that matter, especially the DOD. You remember how we talked about when the congressional hearings were coming up? We were one of the few, probably the first, and part of the few shows out there talking about that the DOD was actively trying to shut down that hearing before it happened, right?
That's right, Thomas. And then, if you remember, during the actual live hearing, Representative Jared Moskowitz publicly stated that they're not allowed to talk about certain things.
Right.
And that there was activity going on, which confirmed the reporting that you and I did live before anybody else.
So coming into that particular limelight from this, I just want to get into this because this comes into the DOD is denying. We don't know. Let me find. I've got a sound clip for this. What is the DOD saying about what they found?
We ain't found shit.
And all they are in talking about this is being what we would consider.
Oh, a bullshit artist.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's a bit loud, but you know it deserves it. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a bunch of people who are trying to manipulate the situation. I mean, come on, we've got the wonderful and the illustrious. Well, maybe I should be able to do this. This should be able to work. We got the one and the only. Mike, you've taken on some unbelievable beauty, my friend. Yeah, we've got Susan Goff, who can insert her face into anything, unfortunately, hijack the conversation with Mike here. But the reality is, yes, we've got these people from the government who can just pop in. I'm gonna do this from more often, Mike. I'm gonna have the Susan Goff. I'll just start bringing in the conversation. A government who wants to cover everything up. Let's get into this really quick. I've been delaying enough on this. We've got coming from Jeremy Corbell talking about the latest congressional hearing was dishonest. It was controlled, which aligns to what we've just been talking about here. Let me go ahead and bring this out. Document. Let's go ahead and do this. Here we go, folks.
The feeling was different this time, and I couldn't really put my finger on it. It was ominous. It was weird. I was pumped. I did all these texts before. I'm like, oh, it's coming out. Shit's coming out. Well, that's because I had something. We had something to say, to come out. Now, that didn't happen. Not that way. But that's okay. There are other ways things can come out. So the feeling in the room, George, I finally put my finger on it. I did last night, for real. First time was real. It was honest. This hearing was dishonest. Now, not Siri, she's talking at me. This hearing was dishonest. Now, Lou Elizondo, as an example, just one.
Oh my God, Mike, I'm sorry. I just was taking this conversation wrong. Hold on, here we go. I had to pause it for 1 second. Here we go.
He told the truth. Don't fuck with my words. The entire setup, the hearing itself, the months of me working with accountability and oversight, the calls you were on, the calls I brought other people on, the people I walked into offices. I don't want to say too much right now, but that was the difference, George. The feeling, if you were in there, you would have told me like this. That's the difference. It didn't register till now. The entire hearing was controlled. Now, I'm either crazy or I'm saying a lie or whatever people want to say, but I bet we're going to find out.
So we'll be definitely
interesting on that, Mike. That kind of, again, pulls us back to what we were talking about before this clip, that clearly, you know, there's been some dirty pull going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, there was, and he didn't specify the specific details about what he was talking about. But what he was talking about was that prior to the hearing, he was with George Knapp, working with the Oversight Committee and bringing witnesses, whistleblowers with firsthand knowledge of UAP programs. And they were supposed to be the ones that were coming forward and testifying at this hearing, not the witnesses that we saw in the recent hearing. They were supposed to be other whistleblowers with firsthand knowledge that was supposed to come and testify. Him and Knapp were working out with members of Congress that assured them that they would be bringing out actual disclosure, as this would be a follow-up to the previous hearing with David Grush when he had testified, and it was going to not only back up the initial claims that David Grush had made last year, but it was going to move the ball further down the road with the additional information that was going to come out from these first-hand whistleblowers. But what had happened behind the scenes was all the promises that were made to Corbell and Knapp. At the last minute, the Congress, the House Oversight Committee, had pulled a fast one, switched up the witness lists, and put in the witnesses that we saw on November 13th. And if you remember, we talked with Lou, who was a witness at that hearing. And we asked him almost like a few days before the actual hearing if he was going to testify or not, because he had mentioned that he might. He wasn't sure. And he said to us, like, it was even a few days before the actual hearing. I think it was the 8th or the 9th. He said he still didn't get confirmation yet. Remember?
That's true. And it was coming down to the wire to go ahead and get him. Even like Carl Nell pulled out at the last minute from what we've heard behind the scenes. But that's between us. But yeah. If we can, that was a little aside. I do have another video clip here coming from the mayor of Menham, New Jersey. Hopefully I said that name right. Let's go ahead and play this clip and we'll get back to it. But yeah, Abe, yes, sir?
I was saying it's Mannheim.
That's Mannheim?
I believe that's how it's pronounced.
Well, maybe. I'm used to
Mannheim is in Pennsylvania.
Well, yeah, I also have Mannheim Road back in Chicago area near O'Hare Airport. It's Manheim, I believe.
Yeah, and Thomas, it's pronounced Mendham in New Jersey.
There we go.
Yes,
Close
sir.
enough. Let's stop. We sound like old people. No, that's not how you say it.
Oh, don't worry.
The drone sightings continued last night over Morris County and have now been spotted in other areas of the state. Where they're coming from and who's controlling them remains a mystery.
What is that?
Lots of drone sightings and still little to no explanation.
The fact that our police, the county, the state, no one has anything to say about it, I think is crazy.
We went in search of answers Wednesday and learned this from the mayor of Mendham Borough.
I know that these drones are not new. They've been going on for a while now, like well over a year. It's just increasing. It's at a much more rapid level.
Beyond that, local mayors are asking questions like the rest of us, hoping for answers from county, state, and federal counterparts.
People are unnerved about it because there's no answer to who they are, who's controlling these drones, and why there's so many of them.
Aviation expert J.P. Tristani says his biggest concern is having unauthorized drones flying in an already crowded airspace that serves Newark, LaGuardia, JFK, Teterboro, and Morristown airports.
It's like a symphony in the sky of aircraft. All of them have prescribed paths. You start throwing unidentified objects, such as drones, or UFOs, into that pattern, and you have a very critical problem with safety in the air.
The FBI has acknowledged it's received reports of what look to be clusters of drones and a possible fixed-wing aircraft. The agency's Newark field office said Wednesday, quote, "We understand the concern and we are doing all we can to figure out what's going on. We truly don't have much information to provide at the moment." Part of the concern is how close these drones are flying to Picatinny Arsenal. The Arsenal says it's aware of reports of unmanned aerial vehicles and is working with local, state, and federal organizations to obtain more information. Residents hope that information comes soon.
It's kind of crazy, really, the fact that they're up there, no one knows where they've come from.
We also reached out to the Morris County Office of Emergency Management, which referred us to the Morris County Prosecutor's Office. The Prosecutor's Office then referred us to the FBI. Reporting in Mendham, New Jersey, I'm Katie Corrado, Pix 11 News.
I want to go ahead. I'm spelling it horribly wrong. I just wanted to go ahead and double check. Interesting talking about Picatinny. one of the things that, let's go ahead and take a look here. What is the answers? There is no, okay, let's see now. In January 1958, Picatinny Arsenal began work on the Battle Group Atomic Delivery System, which eventually resulted in Davy Crockett nuclear weapons system. However, there's no publicly available information to say that Picatinny Arsenal currently shores any or maintains any nuclear ordnance. Its primarily role today focuses on research, development, and manufacturing of various munitions and military technologies, which, if there's a lot of drones going to that area, Corporal Abe, you know what that means. We're talking about probably nuclear materials at that site if it's truly UAP are coming at that site, because that's the thing that they want to tell us more than anything.
Picatinny Arsenal belongs to the U.S. Army. It's clearly a no-fly zone. The FBI has even instituted another triple layer of no-fly zones over there.
Yeah.
You know, this is just more evidence of why it's not the U.S. military or the DOD or the government doing that to the U.S. Army.
Yeah.
You know, the people that work at Picatinny Arsenal and at Fort Dix, New Jersey, which is a joint base, all these people live in this general area, right? And so we're not going to test out things over our friends and family, and we don't know what it can do. Like Greg said, maybe it's got some kind of nuclear propulsion or ordnance on it. What if it fails and it falls on someone's house?
Bingo. What if there's biological material on there? What if there's anything? You know, it's the booby trap, isn't it?
It's such a threat. It's such a threat. As somebody who was in the 28th Infantry Division in Pennsylvania and was stationed at Fort Dix, this is a major fucking problem.
Right.
You know,
so
it's a major problem.
It could be just a drone, or if you want to bring it down, you're going to go ahead and, you know, what are you going to take? Are you going to take what's in the box behind the curtain or behind door number 3?
I mean, and that's just another reason, you know, to explain like the lack of visual response the public can see with the military. We're not shooting at them because if it falls on your house and it's got something biological and nuclear inside.
Lawsuit time.
Yeah, right. We're all going to get fucked up.
Yeah.
So, you know, we don't want that for you. We don't want that for us.
China actually at this point says if there's anything anywhere and it's violating airspace over our bases, we will take it down.
Yeah, easy for them to do. And they don't care, right? Because they'll let one of their rocket boosters fall.
Yeah, I was thinking about that same thing. They had the one that looked like Elon Musk's where it can go ahead and land itself. And they were testing it and accidentally launched it and it came down and landed on the village. Yeah.
Oh my God. Imagine being in that village and watching this thing fall down from space on your village. Wow.
Oh, my friend, you didn't see anything. There's nothing there to damage you.
Nothing. Didn't see anything. We didn't do that.
All right. I do have another story coming in from, we actually have witness accounts of what was flying over the sky and over in New Jersey. Let's get to this next video clip we've got coming up here. Here we go, folks.
It definitely wasn't a plane because it was too low, and it was also going back and forth and then forwards and backwards.
Melissa Kasilniak took this cell phone video Wednesday night from her home in Chatham in Morris County. She says that large object with the flashing red and green lights was hovering just above her neighbor's rooftops.
I think the creepy part is not that it's just a drone, that they're so large.
They look like a small car to me. Their wingspans are probably 6 feet across.
Mark Taylor is the mayor of Florham Park, one town north of Chatham.
People are calling myself, my home. It's one of those things where they are alarmed.
The FBI is investigating the clusters of possible drones reported over the last few weeks. Florham Park's police chief sent a message to residents that drone sightings have been reported above critical infrastructure, such as water reservoirs, electric transmission lines, rail stations, police departments, and military installations. He added that their presence appears nefarious in nature.
In Somerset County last week, officials had to cancel an emergency medical helicopter transport because drones were spotted near the chopper's landing area.
Some residents in Chatham and across the Garden State say they're starting to worry.
So for some reason, I think of terrorism, which is very morbid.
Local police say there's no immediate threat to the public, but all eyes here are on the sky. In Chatham, New Jersey, Nick Calloway, CBS News.
CBS News, and that's what brings it into this. This is clearly, Mike, a story that's touching a lot of people. You know, even coming up to some of the UFO hearings, we haven't gotten this much coverage.
Oh, are you kidding me? No, the UFO hearings, nothing like it. This is affecting the public. This is not just for people of the UAP community that follow this subject. Yeah. This is regular people that are having these things over their homes all hours of the day and night. They have mainstream media like CBS News covering it. So, yeah, this is not something they could put the genie back in the bottle on.
No, they're not going to be able to. And I just had up a really good picture. I was going to bring up, of course, I screwed it up with the bookmarks and everything. There's pictures all from all around that I've got a lot of great coverage on. Let me just get into all this and see what I can get back to where I was at just a second ago and take me but a minute. All right. There were shots coming in from, where is this at? A little bit further.
Can I say something about the drone stuff before you change subjects?
We're still on drone stuff right now, but yeah, go ahead.
When COVID hit, the FAA put regulations in. I used to be a drone pilot, a hobbyist, and once the FAA, they came in, they regulated, they wanted a certain weight of drone. I think it was no more than like 5 ounces. Anything larger than that had to be registered.
Yeah.
And then they're pushing for registration to have beacons on them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of when I got out of the hobby.
And also within the United States, aren't there areas where if you try to operate the drone within these areas, it doesn't work?
Depending on if it has GPS and like DJI, if you have your phone hooked up to your app, it tells on you and it won't let you take off because it says you're near an airport or wherever. But you could have ones that are dummy ones that don't have GPS and you could take off wherever. But they kind of ruined the hobby, and this is another reason because it's like they're pushing more legislation to ban this stuff and get this out of the civilians' hands. And I think they're using this as another excuse to take this stuff away from the hobbyists.
Yeah, but the reality is what has to come down to it on this, Rick, and I understand your passion on this, and I share it, although I don't have a drone. We should have the right to put up aircraft and figure out what's going on, because otherwise, I mean, it's truly putting us in a surveillance state where we can have our eyes up, but the government can. Now, the kind of things that we're seeing here flying back and forth in this loop that's going on here, these kind of craft are exhibiting capabilities well beyond what any commercial drone has, from size, for performance, for how long they can stay in the sky, for how fast they can move, etc., for the length of time and the temperatures that's going on. This is, and the overall size of it. We're talking about, drones that are like the size of an SUV. Does that sound like something you'd be buying from Amazon?
No, I mean, there's DJ Inspires, which are probably a good size of a baby or something.
You don't
like that.
go ahead and regulate the public because the military has the problem with something that's beyond their capabilities. It seems like everything that we have, that we can buy, right, can get brought down by one of their Ghostbusters, one of their Eco Packs, where it's a backpack-based device.
Well, I think
they can bring out and shoot anything down, and it's not going to work.
And the way they shoot those down is they interrupt the control between the controller and the drone.
Oh, it's
and
not just that. They actually interrupt the electronics within the devices that not only prevents them from communicating, but also scrambles the electronics and forces the craft just to crash and come down.
Because some of these, if you just do, you can map a drone. You can say, I'm going to fly to Thomas Fessler's house, and there's no input from. Once you set that map, that plan, it goes straight to your house, and it will land. And there's no
AI based.
It's just using
so
GPS,
what we're dealing with here is not only are they AI based, they're also hardened. Meaning that if we're trying to put up any kind of interference to go ahead and take these things down, there's enough shielding and electronics are resilient enough to be able to survive the known attack vectors that we have. So we may not have, spies from China taking drone technology from the United States. If anything, we'd be taking from the Chinese the United States. But if anything, it sounds like we've probably had people from, if you want to call it, China who has infiltrated our military and found out what's in those eco packs that we have for shooting this stuff down.
And I think it's kind of like a witch hunt. I mean, we have the public gauging the size on this. They can't really tell based on the distance of this unit. I mean, they could say, yeah, it looks like the size of a car, but it could be a lot closer.
Right.
Closer, and then they assume that. I mean, we need someone like Chris Bledsoe, one of the good boys out down south.
We've got people in the police. We have people in different services that are there. We could call Brett Bledsoe, but I think it's getting some people in who are aircraft experts, and they're going to have a better idea to figure out how big these things are and how far they are away. But of course, bringing in the proper technology and equipment to be able to sight these things with the laser and get back a bounce back to figure out how far these things are actually away, and then we can judge size.
Yeah, I just don't want this to turn into a witch hunt.
Well, it's not a witch hunt. We just need to figure out what's going on that note. Greg O'Brien, you have your hand up, my friend.
Hey, Thomas, do you remember the name that was assigned to the gentleman at the aft of an aircraft carrier in the Humvees? Assigned. Remember, they were assigned just to shoot down the drones. They were like the Ghostbusters, basically. But remember,
there was. Yeah, I remember that show. It was a Jeep that was painted tan, and it had a bunch of dishes on it and other kinds of technologies. This was a craft on the East Coast. I don't think it was a USS Russell or something, maybe, but it was something on the East Coast that had a battle group. Dave Beatty actually went and documented the story. I think Dave came on to talk about it, and they had Volkswagen Beetle-sized plasma orbs that came over, that followed behind the craft, and this went on for a couple nights, and then they would also come and fly directly over the craft, and at the front of that, and it wasn't a nuclear vessel, but it was another vessel that had a Humvee that was equipped with the state-of-the-art anti-drone technologies, and all of that technology at that point was completely useless.
How so?
It didn't work.
Okay, so yeah, it was tested and found to be.
Well, you had something that would look like the plasma ball of the sun.
Team. A few people have said
the Snoopy team was different. They were basically on the like basically what the what the Princeton was. These were actually like they had a weird name, but yeah, there was a Snoopy team. Yeah.
No, it wasn't a Snoopy team. It was a technology that they had mounted on the Humvee that was literally strapped down to the front of the ship, had all this technology that could be directed and turned to go ahead and take down drones, but it didn't work. It didn't do anything because, again, you had things that were coming over the bow of the ship, illuminating everything that looked like plasma balls, like from the sun. Literally, two of them coming floating right over the front of the ship. I remember that one, Greg.
Right on. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Andy, you have your hand up.
Sorry, yeah, that was my comment there. I forgot to take my hand down.
Oh, not a problem. Laura Campbell, go ahead.
Yeah, we did look at the drones. This was the target for the UK area, and I was assuming it was just drones. I was wrong. It was both, and actually some satellites were mistakenly spotted by people as well. This is what we got. First, the drones felt Asian. They're huge, the size of a car. The legs look like a helicopter. The device is sitting on top. There's a fan with blades on all four corners and one in the center. There isn't a tail. We see them deployed from a ship that looks like kind of a repurposed aircraft carrier. And then all of a sudden, Iceland connection with satellites came up. We don't know what that was about. UFOs have the ability to mimic drones. The frequency is different from UFOs and drones. A drone has one signal point. A UFO has multi-directional signals that continuously move, similar to intersecting radio signals that change frequencies. And the diagram that we got from it was, so this would be a regular drone emanating, and this would be the UFO, where pretend this is a radio dial and this is a radial dial, and it's constantly going up and down the dial like you twist it, and then those two frequencies intersect. So the scrambling effect is what they're getting off the UFO. Yeah, we got a lot of detail. And then they want to be seen.
That seems obvious. Yeah.
They're mimicking the blinking lights. They want to be. It's a deflection distraction for what other things are taking place. Now, you guys probably won't believe this because you don't think they interfere with human activities, but they are giving them cover so they can deactivate, neutralize nuke material. This takes time. And we were shown like a mixture, like a globulous mixture. I don't know what that meant. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate your
You're
remote
welcome.
viewing insights on what's going on. It's always good to see things from another perspective. Thanks for that update, Laura. I greatly
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that, more than I
You're
understand.
welcome.
If I can get back to one last thing on this to go ahead and cover, we've got even Ross Colhart talking about the drones and what's been going on. Let me get into this one here right now. Let me get down to number 3. Okay, so Ross Colhart is getting reports of UAP/drones from Russia, Kazakhstan, China, Japan, and across the Southeast Asia for the past few days. So this does sound like it's a global escalation of potentially what's happening. On November 22nd, November, the HMS Elizabeth, a drone hovered over it and attempts with an HP-47 jammer. It tried to down it with. It failed. Let me go ahead and bring up this short clip of Ross Colhart talking about this. Here we go, folks.
What we're seeing at the moment is a spate of drone sightings, not just in the United Kingdom, or supposed drone sightings. We're seeing anomalous objects, strange unidentified objects over countries all over the world. My inbox has exploded in the last few days. I'm getting messages from Russia, Kazakhstan, China, across Southeast Asia, Japan. People are reporting to me sightings of anomalous, strange objects that the governments are calling drones in some cases, but which are not explainable as known drones. And so the big issue is, what the hell are they? And we just simply don't know. That's a concern. Here's one, for example. We were told that the British aircraft carrier HMS Elizabeth in Germany, on the 22nd of November, there was a security incident at the port of Hamburg when the Queen Elizabeth was docked under heavy protection. The German armed forces had a secure...
Well, this is something I'm definitely not aware of. And a lot of times I'll go ahead and react as I'm watching this live. Mike, have you seen this clip yet?
I have. And it's interesting because this object had the anti-drone warfare that they were using to protect that ship. It had absolutely no effect whatsoever. And it was alarming because it was being protected by German military forces at that location.
All right,
their weapons didn't do a damn thing to it.
Sounds like the same thing that happened before on the East Coast when we have all this anti-drone technology. But when it comes down to a non-human intelligence, perhaps we're dealing with hybrid technologies, Mike, where we have someone like China who's figured out how to adapt some of the technologies from the non-human intelligence, and they're out here showing off their gifts at this point of what they figured out how to use. We'll have to talk about that later.
We can, but we can. I want to make a quick point. As far as people questioning China's kind of being hostile and interfering in a negative way to other countries, and specifically the United States and the UK, the Five Eyes Alliance, basically. There was an incident that took place recently that was not covered in mainstream media, and it was involving a Chinese ship that was near Scandinavia, and it was dragging its anchor to disable and tear up internet lines on the sea floor to disrupt the internet. So they've been doing activities like this for a long time, and most of the public and mainstream media is not speaking about it or not aware of it.
Right. Or you're going to have to hear from broadcasts like this on the Disclosure Tonight. I guess we're calling it a podcast now because it's everyone looking for. But this is where we try to bring out the truth. It's not really covered a lot of times. We do cover some media stories, but a lot of times we're covering the details that never make it into mainstream media.
Right. But we're not mainstream media. But
of course not. That's what I'm saying. Welcome to the truth as far as we can find it every night.
We are an independent news channel, and we cover the news, which is what we're doing now.
Well, a lot of times we're covering the things that actually aren't covered elsewhere.
That's true.
Bingo.
But it is news, and this is what we investigate and we report on.
Absolutely.
Honestly.
let's continue on with this clip. Thank you for that aside, Mike.
My pleasure. Let's see the
Diana's
clip.
made it back. Welcome, Diana. Long time no see.
Good to see you.
A military zone around the vessel with Homeland Security forces, and they reported a suspicious sighting of a 1.5 metre by 1.5 metre reconnaissance drone hovering over the 284 metre long aircraft carrier. They confirmed the incident, the Bundeswehr, and identified the drone as likely engaged in espionage activities. They deployed, and this is the crucial thing, they deployed what's called HP-47 jamming equipment, capable of emitting signals to disrupt and neutralize drones by forcing them to either land or return to their operators. But that attempt to intercept the drone was unsuccessful. So the bottom line is, whoever it is that's operating these craft, these objects, over very sensitive military facilities, not just in the UK, but also clearly in Europe, Germany, and in multiple other countries around the world, including continuing reports in the continental US.
What's this? I have a breaking UFOs alert that's just popping up. I want to go ahead and bring this up. Thanks to Mike and Alan for bringing this to my attention. This is coming from, is this the one? Is this the one? Yes, there are actually sightings that are coming in over Staten Island at this point, Mike. So it's moved into different areas. So following reports of identified objects that appear to be drones flying above Staten Island, the office of Representative Nicole... Oh, gosh.
Valiatakis.
Yes, thank you, Valiatakis. Yes, I have requested that FAA News impose temporary drone flight restrictions in the area, in addition to requesting immediate briefings from the DHS and FBI. Authorities should swiftly, let me see if I can find her actual tweet here.
Did they give a location in Staten Island where these drones are?
I'm going to look for it right now, Mike. Give me a second here. I'm going to look for her. It's Rep M A-L-L-I-O. There she is. She sounds Greek to me.
She is Greek.
All right, so I was right on that one. Let's go ahead and desktop document, bring this up. Here we go, Representative Nicole. Here we go. Here's the actual tweet coming from her. Let's get this together. Following, reports of unidentified flying objects. Let me just, everyone sees it, who it's coming from. Representative Nicole. Objects appear to be drones flying above Staten Island. When was this posted? This was posted, this morning. I've requested FAA News impose temporary drone flight restrictions in the area, in addition to requesting immediate briefings. Authorities should swiftly investigate these reports and share with the public the purpose of these drones. So, yes, it's from earlier today, but clearly I didn't realize they're over Staten Island. Did you, Mike?
I certainly did not, but I could tell you that means that these drones have crossed over the state line from New Jersey into New York State and New York City.
Yeah.
Which is a heavily air traffic area with 3 international airports, not 1. So this is definitely a threat to air safety.
Coming from S Live, probably for Staten Island Live. Advanced S Live received tips comparable to drones saying, seen near, make it a little bit larger, 141st South 1441 South Avenue.
Yeah, that is by the border of New Jersey and New York and Staten Island.
Right.
I know that area. So yeah, these objects crossed over the state line into New York City proper.
Yeah, there you go.
Interesting.
So former Air Force Sergeant Walter Ziegler of New Springville spotted some drones from his apartment building with binoculars. He described them as having a white in the center and a red light on each side. By his estimation, he believes the span of the drone is about 15 feet long. They came within a mile or less of his apartment, he said. They were all stringed out. Not necessarily on meth.
Right.
But okay, so
how many objects did he give a total count?
No, but he's a former Air Force sergeant, so he's
credible.
He has some understanding of. Someone was saying we need to bring people out here to figure out how big these things are. Well, here's someone who should know, be able to judge how big these things are. Most he observed in a single instance, Mike, as you were asking, was 5 or 6. This aligns with Advance S-Live sister site, NewJersey.com's reporting, which describes a few drones, quote, unusually large, according to reports. Ziegler added the drones he spotted at the Howland Hook, where in the glide path of the Newark International Airport. When the aircraft actually got close to them, the lights shut off. And when the aircraft passed them, the lights came on again and started following the aircraft towards the airport, he explained. This is the best reporting I've heard on it so far as details go. Using apps, Ziegler was able to determine that the drones were not helicopters, as they lack transponders usually aboard a helicopter. While he isn't sure if they're military related, he did say that if they were military, they wouldn't have transponders on anyway. The drones will hover over location for a given amount of time before moving off. The last time Ziegler saw the drones before then was on Tuesday night.
We're at Friday, so this was 3 days prior.
Yeah.
Typically, helicopters have their transponders on in the continental U.S. It's typically good.
They have to have their transponders on in the helicopters.
Yeah. So it's interesting. So, Mike, it's really along the whole eastern seaboard, at least in that whole area, New York, New Jersey, etc.
You know what's odd? I know that area that he's describing by South Avenue in Staten Island. There is absolutely nothing of any value there. Nothing.
Yeah, Mike, there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing we're looking at here.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's no target. There's no nuclear type of facility at that location. There's really, this defies logic to me because I'm aware of the geographical area. And I could tell you that there's Newark International Airport, obviously.
And the tunnels.
Well, by South Avenue, there's no tunnels. There's only bridges.
That's a significant target in military terms.
Yeah, but when I say target, I'm talking about for surveillance purposes. If they're here to surveil, there is nothing to surveil at that location.
Yeah.
Nothing of any value. It's odd, but these objects are here regardless.
Yeah.
They may have their own agenda that we have no idea about, which is why I'm making this point.
Yeah.
Something doesn't add up.
Well, I've got something else that doesn't add up. Go ahead, Corporal Abe, and then I want to bring up this interesting tweet that was just sent across the wire to me. Go ahead, Abe, and then we'll cover this.
Yeah, can I just say about the Air Force sergeant's description? It stood out to me that he said that the transponder was off. It's an act of war if the United States military can't track your aircraft. That means you're intentionally jamming our radar. So that's an act of war. Whoever's doing this must know that. So, pretty significant.
Yeah, I think everything that's going on is pretty significant at this point, Abe. That's a fact. We'll get to the rest of the people, their hands up in a second. I want to go ahead and cover this one. From the son of Thucydides, whatever it is. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it this time of night. Well, I was trained to identify every aircraft under the sun, NATO and non-NATO. They look like no aircraft I have ever seen. Very strange, light arrays for sure, and some of the videos show them stationary with no sound. They appear to be the size of a small fixed-wing aircraft, but definitely look unique. Very weird. I understand that some are staying aloft for many hours, which also brings up questions about energy or power source. Strange. Lots of questions. I still cannot understand why no one is bringing them down or persuading them as RTB wherever they may be. I think those are all really good points. What do you think, Abe?
What stood out to me in that little section was a couple of things. He mentioned his qualifications first, that he had training on all NATO and non-NATO aircraft. I have similar training. And he said that they're staying aloft. This is like naval aviation terminology. They're sitting there in the wings and they're not moving. That's just something that we cannot do. You know, even the newest VTOL aircraft, they have a significant limit hover time of when they have to. The oldest one, the Harrier, can only stay up for 16 seconds. The newest VTOLs, I think, are like maybe max 1:30, like in a wartime scenario of ocean about to die. So these things are staying up there for minutes to hours and coming back and doing this repeatedly and repeatedly. It's not us. It's just not.
No. If anything, Abe, if we take a look at this, I think it's safe to what we're dealing with here is breakaway technology, meaning whether it's from a non-human intelligence or it's from some other humans on this planet, we're dealing with technology that clearly our civil or, if you want to call it, our national forces have no way to mitigate it or to protect the citizens of whose space it's violating.
That's correct. And Thomas and I can confirm it's definitely not ours. Whatever these objects are, we know that for a fact.
Yeah. And if it was, again, we wouldn't be going ahead and doing this over mass, creating hysteria with the people. I think they may have learned that from the stuff that went on with, back in the old radio days.
War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No, this is not something of our doing, and it's something that can't be explained readily, and we're not getting any help or information from the government, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
And this is something that's going to continue, it seems like.
Yeah.
This is not the last day. This is not over with.
It's like 27 degrees out right now, I think, in the New York area. Does that sound about right, Mike?
It's exactly 27 degrees right now. You're correct, Thomas.
Yeah, and the colder it gets, the more fuel things use. Right?
Oh, yeah. Batteries wear down quickly. Fuel burns faster. These things are operating around 2,000 feet altitude. So, yeah, it's going to be affected by the cold, without a doubt.
Yeah. And plus, it looks like you've got some strong wind going on the East Coast right now, too.
We have. We've had some wind kicking up 40, 50 miles an hour in the city for the past couple of days. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these things are working with impunity.
Right. Absolutely. If we could, we got 3 people in their back with their hands up. Nick, you go first.
So do you believe that it could be a sign of a declaration of war against humans? I mean, that could happen if they kill humans. If they kill humans, then
come on, are they stringing up humans and parading them around the air and doing all this horrible stuff? No, it's not an act of war.
I mean, if they killed humans, then do you believe that the government would do something about it, Thomas?
Well, how many have we killed of them?
I hate to sound like the Department of Defense here, but the reality of it is they have technically not fired a shot, not destroyed any property, not taken any human lives. So that is something that we know to be a fact.
Oh, Mike, we have to remember the official line coming to us from the federal government.
We ain't found shit.
There you go. Yeah. That's it. And we just got another super chat from John Stewart.
I want to thank everybody for everything that you're doing. Remember, look at that, 1,075 people watching the show now. Do us a favor, friends. If you haven't given us a chance, go ahead and give us a subscribe. We'd love to have you here as a subscriber here at Disclosure tonight. The only way we can go ahead and grow our subscriber base is by our new people like we have out in the audience right now. At least 4 out of 10 of you. 40% at least are new people watching the show. Please give us a subscribe for me. I'd appreciate it very much. It's the only way, we got almost 500 subs last week. Would love to go ahead and match it again this week. Also, if you haven't given us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, I'll take one or the other. The more thumbs up or thumbs down, it means an interaction. It means the more people who are actually engaging with the show, the more the YouTube is going to go ahead and share it. And my God, what a unbelievable audience here tonight, Mike. Rick Roberts, you have your hand up, my friend.
So just kind of thinking about last year, Balloon Gate, where they knew about the object that was going over, and they said they weren't going to. Well, they weren't. They must have knew what it was, but they weren't telling the public much, and they waited for it to get all the way over the ocean before they finally shot it down. Has the current administration made any kind of statement about what's going on right now, or they haven't said acknowledged or anything like that? The president, has he made any statements about
Jake
this,
Sullivan supposedly is one of the people who shut down disclosure to the American people, who was involved with, of course, Lloyd Austin, who was the Secretary of Defense. Jake Sullivan is the National Security Advisor, who was part of the White House, the executive branch for that matter. They didn't tell us anything because they didn't want to tell us anything. I just want to be honest about that, Rick. They shut it down, not because Jake wanted it shut down or Lloyd wanted it shut down. They have a boss, Joe Biden. And Joe Biden, I have to say, probably didn't want disclosure happening, at least not on his book. But I think there's a new sheriff coming in town, and with that, supposedly, according to Danny Sheehan in one of his latest interviews, he's saying that, disclosure is going to be one of the first things that's going to be starting to be unveiled on the 20th. So we'll see where it goes.
I'd love to see if Trump has anything to say about this right now. I mean, he'll tell you anything. I just feel like he just says stuff because he wants to be in the news.
This goes beyond party. This goes beyond Republicans or Democrats. This is an all-in for humanity. So if we can get someone to bring out the truth, that's what it's about. Bringing out the truth. Chris Aiken, you have your hand up, my friend.
Yeah, well, he pretty much said what I was going to say. I mean, let's see if the activity that's going on lately continues to be the same once he's in office. If it continues to be the same and nothing is shut down, nothing like that, then I would say it's definitely not China or Russia or anything like that. Because if it was China and Russia right now, they wouldn't do anything. I mean, our current guy in office, that they won't do anything about it. So,
hopefully, the change is going to happen soon. Now, talking about things that are soon, I actually have another news clip that came in today. I haven't been able to play yet, so there you go, audience. We got another news clip. I do my best to find some stuff. Here we've got Nick Pope talking about our nation being under siege, which it currently is, and also talking about the congressional hearings, the top secret ones that happened earlier this week. Yes, it's a cover-up, is Tim Burchett would always say. Let's go ahead and bring in this video clip, and let's hit play. Here we go, folks.
Everyone wants to hear about these drones. The nation is under siege at the moment, and that's going to be the question on everyone's lips.
And Nick, let's take a look at some of this video that we're playing on your screen. This is recent footage of UAPs flying over New Jersey. Officials asking for the public's help in identifying what in the world these objects are. This was taken at night. You can see that bright triangular light. What do you think when you look at this video, and what are you hearing from your sources?
Well, there is a whole mix of different things going on here. There are basically 4 things happening at once. Some of this is probably hobbyist drones. But disturbingly, and this, again, the committee is going to want a briefing on this today, some of this might be adversary drones, China or Russia conducting espionage on military establishments and critical national infrastructure. And by the way, this is happening in the United Kingdom as well as the United States. Some of this may be genuine UAP activity, and we just don't know what that is yet. And some is, frankly, mass hysteria. This is such level of intensity now that any strange light in the sky is becoming a UAP in some people's minds. So we need to untangle the fact from the fiction, sort out which of these things are real and which are just misidentifications.
Yeah, and hopefully lawmakers learn something new today. I wanted to play a bit of sound for you, Nick, because the mayor, in one of these New Jersey towns just released a statement updating folks on what authorities know about the situation. Take a listen.
County and local law enforcement agencies are aware of the recurring reports of drone activity around Morris and Somerset counties and acknowledge the public's concern about these repeated sightings. The subject county prosecutors, sheriffs, and emergency management offices, our respective municipal police departments, working in close cooperation with the FBI Newark, New Jersey State Police, and the New Jersey Office of Homeland Security and preparedness partners, seek to reassure the public that we will continue to monitor and investigate the drone activity.
I mean, Nick, he just listed off a laundry list of agencies involved. So is it weird to you, or is it concerning that no one appears to know what these objects are?
It's a huge concern, yes, and clearly this shows the defense and national security angle here. And as you say, it's like a laundry list of agencies. We've got police chiefs, mayors, governors, Homeland Security, and the FBI involved in this, and of course, Department of Defense. We need answers, and we need them now. Hopefully, Congress will push for that today in this classified briefing.
Absolutely. Interesting clip, my friends. Absolutely. I think I guess got that one. Well, another clip coming in from Lord William in the back. Before we get to there, Joanne Stewart, you have your hand up, my friend.
Yeah, there's a CEO of a drone manufacturing company called Sky Gear in New Jersey claiming that these drones are theirs. So felt like that could be something to look into.
Yeah, it's something we can look into tomorrow. Is that something that's been reported on Twitter?
Correct.
You got a link? We can bring it up and check it out.
Yeah, I'll post it in the chat.
Cool, thanks. Appreciate that. Wow, how about that?
It's almost like committing suicide, though, isn't it, right? Because
Yeah.
the military and the FAA are going to fuck him up.
Yeah.
According to the CEO of the company, he's saying that they had all the proper authorizations to fly.
Absolutely doubt that. Absolutely doubt that. The
Agreed.
military, the local law enforcement, the first responder response, and how much gas and time that helicopter wasted, the lives that are potentially, hell no. He did not have everything under the
Well,
sun.
it could be someone potentially going ahead and trying to capitalize and try and get some press for their company.
I would agree with what both of you are saying. I just think it's a fascinating piece to the puzzle that could be
It
related
is.
in some way.
You know, it's an evolving story, and we have to look under every stone. I appreciate you going ahead and bringing that up. It's something we'll check into for tomorrow's broadcast, which will be at 2 p.m. Pacific or 10 p.m. London time. Right, Andy? You have your hand up, my friend.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think that's them capitalizing on the situation. You know, are they slinging these drones around the world? You know, it's been, as we've been showing on the show, it's been happening here for, it's still ongoing. 12 days, nobody's been arrested. I would be surprised if a drone company or any other would have permissions to fly around an American used airbase, RAF base. Not happening. I don't buy that story one iota.
Yes, absolutely. I'd like to, but you can just hit pause anyway. Ack. Thomas, can you pause for a moment? I need the bathroom. Oh, you got to have fun with it. Wow, what a great show. What a great opportunity to hang out with friends. Mike, is there anything we haven't... I know there's stuff we probably haven't covered, but I think we've hit all the major beats, haven't we, my friend?
I think Mike dropped out a bit earlier.
We lost Mike.
I think he's running out to see where his drones are.
Well, he is a little sick tonight. He had the flu going around his house for a week, and then today he said it was starting to hit him, and he was getting the nausea, the headaches, the drippy nose, and all that kind of stuff. I didn't realize we lost our... yes, sir, absolutely. But yeah, great show, my friends. What a great time. Well, on that note, I want to... Hold on. Let me get back to here. I want to thank everybody for your wonderful love and support of Disclosure tonight. Wow, would you look at that? We had 500 people giving us likes. That's, well, if you're still watching the show, do us a favor, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. More importantly, I want to thank the people who have given us super chats tonight. Holy cow, I am so humbled and thankful. For every dollar that comes into Disclosure tonight goes back into our production fund. We're a fan-funded show, and I am so humbled and thankful for everyone's love and support. Who am I talking about? Let's thank Joanne Stewart. Yes, Sky Gear Drone Manufacturer. I didn't even see that one, Joanne. Thank you for that wonderful super chat, my friend. We lose him? He was in the back. All right, let's go ahead and thank Sergi Cardio. Holy cow, thank you very much. Another one that just popped in from Eli McGinnis. Thank you much, Eli. Daryl Zernick, Mr. Live Long and Prosper. In the video Mike shared, was there any audio? No, there wasn't. We didn't hear any audio of drones. We heard one that sounded like a jet fighter's flying around. Wildcat Mahone gave us another super chat. Rachel Osborne, kicking off tonight. Holy cow. Phase Will, thank you very much. But you know what? It's not just about the people who have given us super chats. It's also on thanking the people who've been part of the audience, because the chat is where it's at. Remember, the chat is a benefit of subscribing, and the cost for subscribing is absolutely free. Who do we have out there, participants in the chat, for me to say goodnight to? Let's go ahead and take a look. We have Ack. Our old producer in the back is in the chat today. A Huska's around, along with Andy W. Austin Gilbert. Thank you for being here. Big Cats UK, you're new. Bradley Swaney, you're new. Chasem Down, you're new. Thank you for coming in here today. Claire Glass Studios, I think I recognize you, but not the icon, so I'll call you out as new. Corporal A, we have Daniel. Thanks for coming in tonight. Escadolson, thank you very much. You're new, my friend. We have Daryl's here. Dead Inside 6-something. You're new, my friend. Thank you for coming in tonight. Thank you for subscribing. Delta Echo's been here. Eli McGinnis, Eric Roth and the Gurus, Evan B, Firefly, Firestorm. You're new, my friend. I think Green Tea with Lemon. You're new. Griff, you're new. Highlander, you're also new. We have Ian Watts Official, Immaculate Constellation Engineer. You're kind of engineer, but you're kind of new, but I recognize you. Ingrid Cold's been here. James Matheson, you're new, my friend. J-Cat has been around. Jeff Bullis, 80, you're new. Unless you've gotten a little older. I don't think you were in 79 before. But Kelly Brodner, Piercing Blue Eyes. King Bull, Koala Bear, you're new. Koala. Kevin F., you're new. Lynn 60, you're new. Thank you for coming in. M. Grafisi, you're new. Marcus and the Mandels, as always, here. Thank you for being here. And sorry about those trolls that were around. We kicked their asses out. Nicola Tomic, you're new. NVME Forever Hearst. Never for me, ever, forever first. Yes. Love those hard drives. OCIR, you're new. Peggy and her South Florida friends. And they include Steve, Crockett, and Tubbs. Good to see you. Thank you for being around. Phase Will, Reisenfeld, 1, you're new. Rough Rider, you've been around. SK, I think I recognize you. Sarah Maddie, you're new. Stephen Forbes, welcome. Thank you for coming in tonight. Strange and Scary New England, I know you're new. The Mac Geek's been here too at 666. Tyler Dung, you're new. VMFE, look at all the chat has blown up. This is phenomenal. Wazdiga, hopefully everyone's been having a good time. We'll be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific. Can't wait to see you all there. Yankee 58, you're new. Dead Fish Cheese Spread, I recognize that name. Andy. Thank you for coming in tonight, my friend. Appreciate you being here.
My pleasure, mate. And can I congratulate you? It looks like we've tipped 9,000 viewers. So
subs?
9,000 subscribers.
Holy shit, we made it. Yeah. 9,000 subs. No.
Congratulations.
Really?
A lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears.
Oh, no way. Holy shit, we did it. 9,009.09 subscribers. Wow. Thank you, everybody. Wow. The trip from 8 to 9 didn't take long. Thank you for everyone's love and support. Thank you very much.
And not a penny spent to buy them either. All your hard work, mate. Well done.
And we're going to keep on doing it time and time again. We're never going to give up, my friend.
Yep.
There's a reason most of the people who are watching this don't know why I'm here, but I'm here for a good reason. It's what happened when I just turned 5 years old back in 1973 in the state of Illinois. Yeah. We'll get to that one another time. Also, in the back, I also want to thank for the questions tonight, Chris Aiken. Thanks for coming out.
Sure, man. I appreciate it.
Corporal Abe, thanks for being here.
As always, thanks for having me.
Greg O'Brien, thanks for putting up with me.
What are you kidding me, man? The only true wisdom is knowing that we know nothing, man. Enjoy your night.
Exactly. Thank you for being here, my friend. Huskers, appreciate it. Laura Campbell, thank you for being here, my friend.
Absolutely. I just want to share real quick, too, the gentleman that was anonymous that put out some images of supposed UFOs on Strange Mysteries program we targeted, and everything was false.
Fake. Love it.
Yep.
Not that I love it, it's fake. I like real stuff, but it just shows a lot of the stuff out there isn't real. And what's great about these mass sightings, there's so much footage. It's hard to say one's fake because they all line up, don't they?
Yeah. It's just like Nick Pope said.
Yes, exactly. Oh, gosh, we're actually quoting Nick Pope. The world is about to end, Laura. That's part of the That's the part of the predictions of the apocalypse. All right, thank you, Michael Sokoloff, for coming in.
Anytime.
Nick, thank you for being here, my friend. Susan Ford, none of your business. Appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. Enjoyed every moment.
Yeah, it's been a good one. Not Rick Roberts, not sure if you said said something, but you might have. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Hey, remind all the newbies to come to the back chat where we show the alien bodies for the after party. There's a link on the top.
Got to be careful about that. Yeah, the link. There's conversation that goes on after the show. Shh. Everybody doesn't know it, but if you follow the link, you'll be able to join in the back. We'll let you in, have a great conversation where the conversation continues. On that note, where is that at? No, turn that off. And as we usually say at the end of every episode of Disclosure tonight, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everyone, but...
Go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely, and we'll catch you on the flip side. See you tomorrow, everybody, 2 p.m. Pacific, where we cover what's been going on in the UK and their drone sightings or UFOs, whatever the hell's going on. It's a worldwide phenomenon. You'll see it here first on Disclosure tonight. Good night, everybody. Love you. Bye-bye.